You know, the Bhagavad Gita is one of the world's most profound philosophical texts, but let's be real, it can feel pretty intimidating to even get started. So today, we're going to break down a simple, really powerful, and totally secular method to help you study it, and it's all based on the approach of the wonderful scholar Jaya Rao.
So here's the big question, right? The one that stops so many of us before we even begin. Do I need some long list of rules or complicated rituals just to open the book? It's such a common misconception, and honestly, it just creates this huge barrier.
Well, the answer is a huge, liberating no. The real work, the important stuff, it isn't about external ceremonies at all. The most crucial preparation happens right up here, in your mind. Just making that simple shift in perspective. Well, that's the key that unlocks the whole thing. Okay, so what does that mental preparation actually look like in practice? This first part is all about building the right foundation, and that means shaping both your inner focus and your physical environment so they're working together, not against each other.
And this right here, this visual, just nails it, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the classic recipe for failure. Trying to study late at night when you're exhausted, your phone is buzzing every 2 seconds, and your mind is still spinning with all the day's drama. But on the right, that's the path to clarity. So, how do we get from the mess on the left to that focused state on the right?
Well, these steps are incredibly doable. First, find a quiet space, just for you. Second, you gotta set a powerful conscious intention to just focus. And that's why putting your cell phone completely away, I mean, not just on silent, but out of sight, is absolutely non-negotiable. And finally, choosing the early morning, man, that gives you such a huge advantage because your mind is naturally in what's called a sattvic mode. It's calm, it's clear, and it's just way more receptive.
All right, so you've got your space set up, your mind is ready to go, now what? How do you actually engage with the teachings? It's not about just passively reading for hours on end. No, it's a really simple, active process that has just 3 parts. Here's the whole method. Step 1, engage. Read a passage, watch a video, listen to a lecture, whatever it is. Step 2, and this is so important, is to pause. Don't just plow through. When a particular idea or a line just hits you, stop. Then, step 3, write it down. Not the whole thing, but the core of that insight in your own words.
And that's it. That's the trigger for step 2. It's that little internal light bulb moment. That feeling where you just go, yeah, that's a good point. That is your signal to stop and capture that thought. Your whole study session just becomes a collection of these personal aha moments. Okay, so you've set up your space and you're collecting these little insightful points. But what's the end game here? The study isn't about just piling up knowledge, it's about internalizing wisdom. And that brings us to the final and honestly, the most important part of the whole process.
That process is called manana. It's all about the deep reflection on what you've written down. Think of it like a bridge that takes an idea from a page in your notebook and actually integrates it into who you are. It's how you go from just knowing something to truly deeply living it.
And here's how manana works in the real world. You take that one point you wrote down and you just reflect on it for a bit. Then, and this is where the fun really starts, you experiment with it. You actively try to apply that one single concept during your day. How does it change how you see things or what you do? And through that conscious experimentation, you eventually just start to live it. The teaching becomes so integrated, it's just second nature.
And you know, this is what it all comes down to. This journey isn't about trying to absorb the entire Gita in a week. No way. It's about finding just one good point, one insight that resonates with you today, and starting that process of manana. So the real question for you is, what's that one insight you're ready to experiment with and truly live? Because that's where the transformation begins.